Perfect, brother. How do I sound?
Cool. Sound good.
All right, brother. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Collector Safe Space. This is your boy Dre. I'm doing an impromptu, just want to fucking hang out kind of thing. And you guys know I'm going to take advantage of it because I'm not back to working 100% yet. So, since I'm not yet, I have my boy Sal, who has, you know, basically become one of like my new best like dad friends. Like we talk pretty much every day. And it's great to share just these war stories about our kids and just life in general. And Sal, if you guys don't know, is actually one of the great guys over at Nerd Affiliated, who I just got texted by the CEO of Nerd Affiliated. I guess I'll give him that title because I think it's cool for Hey Archer Steven.
He's the boss. He runs the show.
Exactly. So, Sal, it's great to have you on, brother. And I know you tell me let's get people to know what you do over at Nerd Affiliated.
I am one of the core members of Nerd Affiliated. Big comic book nerd. Not really a collector. I got hooked up with Anthony. I got hooked up with Steve through Anthony, and eventually our friendship with Aaron Waller, and the four of us got together and just trying to make it happen. Just a bunch of nerds trying to make it work.
It is the best part of it. We all this community has, and you and I've talked about this several times, that this community it's very polarizing. You can either be on the side of it where you're very supported and loved, and then you're on the other side of it where it's like very toxic and cliquish. And I feel like you and I are both on that side of let's promote, let's make everybody feel welcome and good. And I love that about you guys over at Nerd Affiliated. And just you and I, just like, it was funny. Steven said to me a while back, he's like, you're gonna love Sal. Like, you and him are gonna be like how you and I are. You guys are gonna just click. And then of course you and I click and we talk all the time. So I love it. So I know you and I are are not that far apart in age, but we are native New Yorker boys. Even though I've relocated down south, and you are still,
Oh,
and you actually went further up north in New York, so you're in New
yeah,
York,
just
but just a little bit further up. But
I can still smell the city from where I am.
oh Jesus, dude, I lived in Riverdale in the Bronx, so like you could literally like it was the upscale area, so you could literally see like the Hudson and down right into Manhattan. And before 9/11, you could literally go to the top of my aunt's condo in Riverdale and see right down to the towers.
Oh
Like on
man,
a clear day, you could literally see right down there. It was beautiful.
it's nice being old enough to remember the buildings. You know,
Yes, yeah, definitely. And we're actually Dave and I are going to be doing. Dave will be coming on the show on Monday. We're going to be doing a collector spotlight on 9/11.
nice.
And I like to, and I always share. It's kind of crazy because I was actually going to school during 9/11, and I share a very passionate story because I lived through the no communication. My mom was alive, and it was like I was at school, and my mom was trying to get to me. I was trying to get back to the Bronx, and it was just like my girlfriend was living in Queens, and my cousin was working down at one of the hospitals near there. So it was just like a lot of interesting things about how my family tied into that whole event that really changed my life in a lot of ways and how I thought about travel. Because I didn't travel for about a few years after that.
Yeah, I get it.
Right,
I was
anyway.
in high school. I was 16 years old. I was in high school, and my dad worked at the Marriott down there. I think it's on Varick or Vesey, like right around the block. And same thing, hours without communication. Cell phones weren't too big of a thing quite yet. You had to be a little more privileged to have a cell phone, and hours of no contact, and you're just watching the pile smolder on the news. Scary times.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a very for as a New Yorker. I think a lot of people felt that we were. Oh no, LeBron. We're just kind of reminiscing about because Sal and I are both from New York, and we're just kind of reminiscing about like what it was like at when we were uh, at the same time because he was 16, I was I'm 7 years older than you, so I was 23. So I was
Yeah.
I was what we like to call a long-term freshman in college. I was one of those super seniors in college. And I remember just like walking on the campus, and I was sitting in the lab, and then the power goes out, comes back on, red lights go on in the building, and then next thing I know, I see soldiers running down and the hallway, and I was just like, "What the hell's going on?" And then next thing I know, I see, the internet's out, and then I go to the diner across the street from my school, and I see the second tower falls. So I get on a payphone, I'm calling my mom, I'm like, can't get through. I finally get through to one of my friends, and he's like, "Dude, I can't even." He's like, "I can't get to pick you up." He's like, "There's no, like, the cops are cutting off all the roads. Like, you're gonna have to figure out a way to try to get yourself home." And they eventually, I think they gave all the city buses were free. So I got to jump on a bus, crowded, elbow to elbow, and made it to the Bronx after 3 hours. And then I got to my grandmother's house. My mom was stuck on the highway coming to my school in upstate New York, and we couldn't communicate because, again, like you said, cell phones were a privilege. I didn't have one.
Yeah, no, neither did I.
So it was crazy times. It's definitely, it was a traumatic experience, but I think it strengthened New York. So hello, Mr.
Definitely.
Smith. So let me say hello to people in the chat. Obviously, I want to say hello to Nerd Affiliated, Darren Smith. Good to see you. Welcome to the show, LeBron, who is one of the mods of mods. Yeah, only a pager.
The mods of mods.
Only a pager, dude. I think if I had one, that was like in high school for me. And remember, I'm still older than most. So
if you were real fancy, you had a BlackBerry or a Sidekick.
Oh yeah, you had the Nokia Sidekick, the little where you could like text on it. I remember those joints. I didn't have one of those. I wasn't that
full keyboard.
Yeah, this folks, y'all don't know, man. This right here was nothing. All this now that we have is like privilege.
Maybe you could get in 2001. Maybe you can get sports scores on your phone. Maybe.
Yeah, you got the weather definitely. You could play the Snake game on Nokia, and if you were lucky, you could, like you said, you got like some of the scores. If you're if you were a Yankees fan or a Mets fan, because this is polarizing. I gotta ask Sal. We haven't established this in our friendship yet, so I gotta establish Yankees or Mets.
Yeah, my feed's cutting out. I know you're from the Bronx, so you're not gonna like my
answer. All right, well, that's fine. Polarizing, another polarizing. Giants or Jets?
Oh, I'm a Bills fan.
Oh, then you're even worse than I thought. Yeah, it's like I'm like, damn. At least I'm a Giants fan.
It's worse. I'm into a bunch of losers. I'm a Met fan. I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Ranger fan. I used to be a New Jersey Net fan.
Wow.
Big New Jersey Net fan. When they moved to Brooklyn, I kind of stopped watching.
Oh yeah, because that was a political move anyway. Yeah. I mean, it was really more of a political move, and it's also a whatchamacallit, it was a way to gentrify that area of Brooklyn, because Atlantic Avenue was pretty much like not a great area to go to. And my friend used to live over there. Now he lives down here in North Carolina. But I liked it when I went over there to the stadium. Like, I actually got to see, I didn't go to, there was a WWE event. I want to say it was Royal Rumble or an NXT takeover was happening there when I was there. But I wasn't going to go because, I was just like, yeah, we're like that close to Brooklyn. In Brooklyn, I was like, I could be that close. I don't need to go to the event. I can watch it for free.
Yeah, but you know what? If you make, like, they've tried to like gentrify like DeKalb and everything, but like, yeah, that area of Flatbush, you can like walk around, but you go 2 blocks behind it, and it's hard, man. You better stay on Flatbush Avenue.
Yeah, you have to, and it's funny because I used to have a friend that was in that area, and I grew up in. For those of you that don't know Dre, this is a little bit of I'm pulling the curtain back a little bit. So I was born in Brooklyn. I grew up in upstate New York, Rockland County, Orange County. Then when we hit first grade, my parents moved to New Rochelle, New York, which is upstate New York. For those of you anybody that lives above a certain area,
upstate.
It's it.
Like Mount Vernon, Yonkers.
yeah. Like that's upstate. Like I lived in that area. I
That's
grew up.
upstate if you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah, for Brooklyn, that's upstate. Now, if you're in the Bronx, that's not as upstate as like Armonk
Yeah.
or Wappinger Falls or Ulster County where my son lives. Now, I then lived there till my parents got divorced, and then we moved to the Bronx, and then I lived in the Bronx pretty much my young adult life into my adult life, and I think that was the best times of my life because that's when I
Nice.
started taking the subway around. That's when I started really like kind of like acclimating to being a city boy. Like I would drive. I drove to college, but when I didn't have the car because my mom had to go to work, I would take the train, Metro North, all the way up to New Rochelle to go to then take the shuttle bus to Iona and then take the shuttle bus back. So it
Nice.
was that was my life back then. Go Sox, man, LeBron. And you're in Atlanta. Like I figured the Braves would have been like your team. Like
being a Met fan through like the 90s and the early 2000s, I hate the Braves. I can't stand them. They'd always knock us out of the pennant, and then they wouldn't do anything with it. It's like,
bro,
if you're gonna beat us, at least go all the way.
I'm gonna make you laugh. So on my 40th birthday, I was visiting New York, and my godfather, one of my closest friends of now 18 years, he is a Mets fan. So we're celebrating my 40th birthday, and the topic, because my cousin's husband, who is the son-in-law to my godfather, he is a diehard Yankees fan like me, but he's surrounded by Mets fans, and I'm sitting there just sipping on my wine, and we're all drinking beers, having wine, everybody's drinking, and then somehow the topic of the Mets fandom came up. And my God, did I never see two Mets fans go against a Yankee fan so hard that I just sat there. I was like, this is the best thing ever to watch. Like I don't need to. Who needs to see like any other rivalry? This is the best rivalry here. Subway Series. I got it right here in my aunt's backyard. Free barbecue. Loved it.
I never really hated the Yankees. It's more like when it came down to the Subway Series, that's where things like there was a little bit of contention. But as long as New York's going, I mean, it's easy to hate the Yankees when they were so damn good.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Really easy to hate the guy in front. But yeah, I never felt that way for Yankee fans or the Yankees in general.
Yeah, like I went to a Phillies game in Philadelphia with my
Sorry to
Yankees.
hear that.
Yeah, it was. I was there. I was dating a girl, and we were visiting a friend of ours that lived in Philly. And he was like, "Oh, I got tickets," and I was like, "Oh, well, you paying for it? Shit, I'll go." And I had my jersey on. I had my Jeter jersey. I had my hat, and everybody's just looking at me like,
"Wrong move, bro. Bad move,
bro." New York, we represent wherever we go. I was in Boston.
Oh yeah.
Of all places to be a Yankees fan, in Boston, and I rocked my shit, and I had guys stare me down the street with daggers in their eyes, like I'm gonna cut you. Like,
yeah, but Philly, oh man, Philadelphia fans in all sports are just different. They go to Met games by the busload, and I'm a really reserved sports fan. When I'm there, yeah, I'll stand up and cheer, but I'm not going to get too crazy. But the Philly fans show up to your stadium and cause fights.
That's true. They do.
They're rough, man. There's different breed.
But I think that's like they always say like the wildest towns for events, and I always look at places like New York, California. Even I'll go to like Toronto, Calgary. Like when we had when you see hockey games in and even in London when the hooligans take over the streets, like it is insane the level of fandom that people will go to to be that fan. Like I would say like I don't see that here in Charlotte. Like being here, it's like, yeah, I mean it's cool, but then I went to Atlanta for Survivor Series a few years back, and let me tell you, you go to Atlanta, that was like the New York level. Like I saw an entire stadium full of people watching Survivor Series. R.I.P. to Bray Wyatt. So that was my first and only experience getting to see Bray Wyatt wrestle was The Undertaker and Kane versus the Wyatt family at Survivor Series in a casket match. So, I just like I know that it's like my wife and I talked about it because she knows I get sad when wrestlers pass, but like his was completely like COVID, or I gotta watch out because YouTube will cancel me for he had the virus and then he has a heart attack and then passes away. 36 years old. It's sad.
I feel you, man. I feel for him.
I hope everything will get better for his wife and his 3 kids now. So, oof. But on to bigger and better things. Yeah. So, you and I are avid D&D fans. It's very rare to ever really get a chance to talk to another person that's huge into Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, well, apparently being a nerd and affiliated means I have to collect toys, and no one does tabletop RPGs. So I'm stuck in the group chat, and I'm like, hey, I saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie. What do you guys think about it? And they're like, crickets. And it's like, hey, maybe we should do like a live tabletop thing. Nice. I'm like, hey, maybe we should do like a live tabletop thing. And it's just like, nah, I don't do that. I collect toys.
Wait a second. Wait. Pausa. Are you saying that you would love to do a live tabletop? Because
I would try it. I would definitely, if you want to get a coalition of nerds together and run like a one shot.
I have talked about it with people. We have a few.
I mean, at this point, I got 2 little ones at home, right? I got,
as you can see,
one
mine.
I got one that's starting school this. Yeah,
Rory,
I got one starting school this week, and I got one that can't even stand up straight.
Come here.
Can't even sit up at this point. She's 4 months old.
Come here, Mama. Come here. What's the matter? Come here. Say hi to my friend Sal. Say hi.
Hi. Hello.
It's so silly.
You're so silly, or Papa's so silly. There you go, Mama. Go ahead. That's my littlest one. She's my mini me. What's wrong? She's fake crying. She does that for my wife. She'll come. You know how that is. Like my wife will come home from work and she'll go. I'm like, why are you crying? You've been fine for like 8 hours of the day. You've been fine, and suddenly mommy comes home and it's like the waterworks.
You got to come to terms with it that daddy's number one when they're just with daddy. Yeah, you ever watch Afro Samurai?
Yeah. Oh hell yes.
Mommy's got the 1 headband. Daddy's got the 2 headband.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's coming for daddy until mommy shows up.
And it's true because my girls are both like. See, Lana is more of a mama's girl.
Okay.
Hey, you get out the kitchen, you. She tries to be slick. That's why this is her being devious like me. Because I know she could be this way. So, and then there's this one who is definitely a daddy's girl, but could be mama's girl, but she's more of a daddy's girl. So wait, let me just see what LeBron said. Sal stands alone.
Yeah, I'm trying to run you in the background so I could take a look at the chat while everything's going on.
Yeah, I try to pop the chat in here as well. LeBron says if his dyslexic ass could math faster. Listen, dude, it's super simple math. If it's like D&D.
Oh, that might be my fault.
Oh, sorry. D&D 5. All right, I'll hold.
Yeah, no, I had a nerd affiliated standard is technical difficulty, so everything kind of dropped out for a second, but I'm good.
Okay,
you don't mind starting over?
No, that's all right. I said so right here, LeBron says if his dyslexic ass could do math faster, D&D 5e is literally meant for kids of any age, like that's basic math. So like the most, and the math is super simple.
It depends on like how bad of a head injury you have, and like even then you can still work it. And there's apps for that too. There's like, I don't want to plug it, but you got the Beyond app. You could just
literally the Beyond app
once you
does
set everything up
for you.
You actually roll I don't like that. I'd rather roll like real dice.
Oh yeah, we talked about
roll the dice on the app.
Yeah, I don't roll dice on the app. I have 2 boxes of dice hiding around here. So, but it is absolutely bonkers when you get to play, and I would love to play, but actually he just now knows that and I was just talking to Sal about this the other day. I had to actually step away from my group because of my new schedule with work, so I will not be able to play on Tuesdays, and now they want to go online now to supplement to keep me playing. Because I told you my character is like a pivotal part of the adventure now. So they're like, we need to keep you in play. How do we do that? And I was like, well, if you guys,
Gotta keep showing up.
I was like, I can play online.
Yeah.
Mama, bring me your tablet because it's very loud. Bring your tablet. You can talk. I'm listening to you.
I play every Wednesday night at a local library, and it's kind of what's nice about doing it at the library is that it closes, so it can't turn into like a 4 or 5 hour session. Keeps everything at 2 hours. And,
we do that. We
it's
play.
Hard. It's hard with kids.
Yeah,
no, it's hard with kids. So if you want to do a one shot, I'll commit to a one shot for now, and then if we can make time to make it all work, then yeah, you want to live stream one, I'll live stream one with you.
All right, so listen to this, folks. I'm going to tell you all now. Whoever catches this on the replay, I know that Aaron at Cold Games wants to play because he is an avid D&D fan. Myself, Sal, and Dave from Dave's Dimension have talked about it. I would like to see if I could get one more person. If I can get one more person, I will. If I don't, I'll still consider running it with just the three of them, and I'll run the game. But yeah, it is definitely comment below if you'd like to see that, because I know that I'm not going to be like Matt Mercer because I'm not Critical Role. I'm not a voice actor. I'm actually a lifetime D&D fan. So I've been playing since second edition. So
okay,
I know what, I've been playing since Thaco. Because if you guys don't know, for those of you that just heard that word Thaco, that is the 2-hit armor class 0. That was what it was called. And the object was, people always thought the lowest number you wanted to get was like, you wanted to have a negative number for your armor class. So really, to talk math, you wanted to have like as close to negatives so that it would be harder to hit you. Where in D&D 5e, the higher your armor class is, the better your armor class is. So it's kind of just paralleled.
Yeah, I haven't played since I was a teenager, but I'm like really into it, and I've gotten with this group. We've been playing for like the last month and a half now. But again, I watch. It's hard because, with a dad and a full-time job and stuff like that, I'm more watching people play on YouTube than I get to actually play. But it'd be nice if we can get a group together. That'd be
cool. I would love to. Like, that's my. Can you sit down, please? You're driving me crazy. Me vuelve loco, muchachita. Siéntate. Oh, I'm sorry. Why are you sad? Why are you angry? For your cookie shark. I know. That's her line. Her line. Everybody that knows and hears her, she'll be like, I'm sad, I'm angry. But she doesn't like me making fun of her because then she does that. So, but I love it because I know she's fine. So this is something I told Sal. I said, I love having dad friends because I don't like, a lot of our friends can be single, and sometimes it's tough because if you don't understand the life of a dad, it's tough.
Yeah, it's look, it's you got to work on still. It's your family gets everything first, obviously, right? And then you still got to hold on to part of yourself. You don't want to lose that, and you want to integrate it. You want everybody to work together and play together.
Exactly, like what you guys did. Like, big shout out to you guys yesterday for JB's Toy Trunk. I love a lot of what JB does. JB's actually South Carolina. He's not that far from me. I think he comes up to Charlotte a lot. Like, I know because Kyle lives here and Kent Poole lives here. Jetta Patrol lives here. I think I actually don't live that far from Jetta Patrol, and I know Kent lives in the city. So I live near a lot of toy hunters, and there's a lot of like non-YouTube toy hunters that I've met in my Target travels that actively like are sneakerheads, and so we yeah. Oh, thank you, Nostalgic Toys. I like that. My friend said dads are 100% on fire. Yeah, that makes me feel good. I love that. Me
too.
We don't get that. Listen, we don't get a lot of props often. The good ones anyway. The good ones. We try to be good. It ain't easy, but so as a lifelong D&D guy, like, you don't look like. Look, let me be honest with you. I'm gonna be like, my wife said when she first met me, she couldn't believe I was a toy hunter because she's like, you're 6'1", you're like 240. You look like you were an athlete. I'm like, yeah, I was. Sal, you don't look like the typical nerd. And that's
No,
funny.
I'm a big boy too. I'm 6'3". I'm like 225. You know, I'm not. I don't. I don't look the part. I'm a huge video game collector. Huge gamer. Like I prefer to do that than watch movies. But I'm into all that stuff.
Nice. I mean, and it's funny.
Anime, Dungeons and Dragons, like anime, tabletop video games, comic books. Like we used to collect trades. I have like a giant stack over here.
Oh yeah,
I haven't set up my bookshelf yet.
We have, you and I have talked about this. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you off stream about an idea and see if you'd be interested in it. It was something I had pitched to another friend of mine, and he didn't have the time to do it, to dedicate to it. And it'd be something I'd like to do. And I think you might be interested, especially when I tell you the idea, the name of it. So
sure.
Hint.
It's just super hard. Like I feel really bad for the guys that I work with because it's super hard right now. If you're familiar with Nerd Affiliated, I've had some health problems in the beginning of the year, and I'm just about getting over all that. And then as I started to get over the health problems, my daughter was born, and she was born on the premature side, so that's more time in the hospital. So I haven't been as active on the front lines with Nerd Affiliated as I would like to be. So it's, if you haven't seen me around, and even like sometimes with scheduling, it's like super hard. That's put my disclaimer out there for everybody.
No, and you know what, guys, I'm gonna tell you, just like Steven had told me, like when he first was talking to me about Sal, because he was like, Dre, you and Sal are gonna gel. Like he said, the minute you guys meet, you're gonna gel. And I'm just that personality type. I'm literally what? Oh, okay. So go make some noodle soup for me. And the what was it? The big thing is when you find somebody that gels like that. I'm the type of personality that take me or leave me. If you love me or you hate me, I'm kind of can be conceived as an asshole at times, and I don't really care. But at the same time, I got a heart of gold for the people that are good to me. So, So
you don't want to waste your energy on people that don't need it, don't deserve it.
If I have you in my phone, there's a reason why you're in my phone. That's how I look at you. Like if you're in my phone and I talk to you every day, there is a handful of people I talk to every day outside of my wife, and that's about it. And my sister.
Speaking of people in my phone, can we give a shout out to the hardest working man on YouTube right now, Aaron Waller, in the house?
Shout out, Mr. Waller. I'm going to put you up here. There you go. Mr. Waller, how are you the hardest working man in show business? I got to hear the story.
No, he's the hardest working man on YouTube. That guy cranks out videos like crazy. He's a good friend of Nerd Affiliated. He is affiliated. He's part of the core team with me, Anthony.
Rambling Nerd.
Yes. No, Anthony's a rambling nerd.
Rambling Nerd. All right, so Aaron, hey, since you're on the team, I get to know you. You're awesome. We will be talking. All right, give me 1 second. You're going to talk a little bit while I get this little girl some gummies to keep her calm.
Man, I would love to go for some snacks right now. Talk about some snacks. Let's talk about kettle corn. Let's talk about gummy bears. If you got a snack you'd rather be in right now, put it in the comments, put it in the chat. We'll start talking about your snacks. Like I'm a big baked goods guy. Like if it's brownies or chocolate chip cookies, I'll level for an oatmeal cookie. I prefer oatmeal with chocolate chips instead of raisins. Rice Krispie treats. Love Rice Krispie treats. That's my all-time favorite ever. Man, what else? Popcorn. I shouldn't be eating any popcorn, but popcorn's good. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, boss. What was that? Should I plug the brand? I absolutely should plug the brand. You can check us out at nerdaffiliated.com, where we have all this fine merchandise. We have hats. No, we don't have hats. Do we have hats? Yes, we do. We have the Degenerate Nerd hat. We have stickers. We have hats. We have pretty much anything you can think of over there. We're actually working on a new branding, which we did it last year too, with the whole Nerd Foundation, Degenerate Nerd thing, like probably around the same time, right, Steve? I think we did it. What was it? It had to be around like August. So looks like we're turning it out again. Some weird movie trailer hopped up on our page. You should probably check that out. That might be a hint to something that's coming down the line. And hats sold out. That's why I'm stuck with this Under Armour hat, because the hat's sold out. We're doing pretty solid if the hat's sold out.
I'm new to the group, but popping my head into support. Hey, you're always welcome to support, dude.
So yeah, if you check out, I was just doing a plug while you were doing
go ahead.
Urban Snacks. So yeah, if you head over to nerdaffiliated.com, we have brand new merch coming down the pipe. Again, check out that movie trailer that's on our YouTube channel, Nerd Affiliated. We got our Discord, we got our Reddit. I run the Discord and Reddit. There's an Instagram. Rambling Nerd Anthony has his own Instagram as well. And another plug for Aaron Waller. Check out Nerdgenic at YouTube also. So that's about all I got.
Hey, that's perfect. I don't mind people getting to plug their stuff, and I'm all about that. That's part of why I started the Collector Safe Space. I mean, you know,
that's our big thing too. Like when you started, I got into you because I caught you on Steve's show on Thursday, and you had Steve on your show.
Yes,
and it's Collector Safe Space. We don't call ourselves a safe space, but every time someone's on there, even if you're in the chat, it's always plug your shit, man. If you got smoke signals, if you got a vlog, a blog, I'm not going to do it because I don't remember all 7 or 8, whatever the number of things Steve has. But if you got all that, if you got something, plug it. We're here for each other. When Steve runs interviews, it's usually interviews with other content creators, with other collectors. So we're here together. We're here to be nerds together. And it's like you said, try to stop the hate. It's not about being toxic. It's about supporting each other, even if we don't like it.
We need to, because I've reached a point now. Life's too after yesterday with Bray at 36. It's too, your life's too short. To sweat the small shit. It really is.
36. He beat me. I had a heart attack at 37.
I mean, dude, I'm saying, he had other complications, and he was on the road. They literally 2 weeks ago, JD from NY had released that he was like, "Hey, it's big. It's Bray Wyatt's coming back. Like he's training. He's about to come back to the ring. Like he's expected to be there maybe by Survivor Series." And Wyndham Rotunda, his dad, contacts him and says, "Hey, IRS." And I was like that 36. So the more I see that, and at 45, I start looking at things and start saying we have this very little bit of time that we're granted on this plane of existence. Enjoy it, live it, love it. Why be toxic? I don't keep toxic people around. I only want positive. And that's why the safe space exists. It didn't exist before. The safe space was never a thing, because I foolishly, like I told you, went into groups thinking it was okay to be me, but then when I was me, it was too toxic to some people, and they ousted me out by being, well, let's be venomous and hateful and push them out. And then at one point I just said no. And there's been people that have come in and out of the safe space group. I'm not going to front and say that I'm perfect. I'm far from it. But at least the people that are there, that have stayed there since day one, they're there. They want to be there, and they know that what the group means and what we stand for: brotherhood and sisterhood. The whole purpose. Why not? This hobby was during the pandemic. A lot of people became collectors again, refound their love for it. Became pandemic YouTubers, bloggers, vloggers. Why not parlay that into actual friendships? That's how I think. Like, we don't have to be toy collectors to know that you and I have bonded over several other things, know. And I was like, well, I used to collect video games. I mean, I have a virtual library mostly. I mean, I have about 6 Switch games. Like, I had to actually look, but I have my virtual games on my PS5, and I mean, would I have ever liked to have done maybe like a collection of video games? Hell yes, I would. If the
Yeah.
money wasn't an issue and space wasn't an issue,
Oh, I mean, that's the biggest issue about collecting anything. You know,
yeah,
like
space is always.
like with the toys, with the comics, with the games. It's like, eventually coming down to like where you're gonna put it.
And I've gotten rid of more. Like I'm actually getting rid of. My car has 2 boxes loaded, and I'm about to load 2 more boxes today by the end of today to take to the shop tomorrow, just to be like to put it into my comic book collection because
Yeah.
my comic book collection, my kids want to read. And I know that I've curated. I mean, I'm a diehard Spider-Man fan. I do read a lot of the newer DC stuff, but Spider-Man, the Avengers, Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, like those are my currently good series of books I'm reading. So my kids like to read them. So I figured, why not? Like I'll put into that because those can accrue value. Toys do as well, but it's like there's a longer game you play versus comic books. And even comic books have a certain shelf life too. Video games are now starting to take off in that regard. And I don't know if you noticed any of that with YouTube or collecting video games yourself.
No, I haven't personally noticed. 'Cause I don't know. In terms of like video games, I kind of keep it as like my own thing. Like I don't really like put it out there. So it's more like I keep an eye on my own collection. I haven't really been checking trends or watching other people who collect. It's the thing is the formats have changed too. Once things went digital, you can kind of get your hands on everything, and that hurts the collectors. Unless you have something like you have like a Famicom or like a Super Famicom, and you have it like boxed up. You have like pristine and like glass or something. Uh, Other than that, you can play all those games digitally, like a ton of different places.
Yeah, ROMs. And we don't
Yeah.
promote that on this channel, like Dave says when I talk about it on the Outer Dim
Arr.
podcast. Yeah, we don't
No pirates over
yeah,
here.
no piracy, no piracy. I do suggest. Especially with I have 2 of the consoles that you really can't pirate anything on between the Sony and the Nintendo. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
mod them if you wanted to, but why would you? They brick the system, and there goes your money.
And on Nintendo, you pay for the monthly service and you get a lot of old stuff anyway.
Yeah,
You're
I
getting
got
all the early, like you get on the Switch, you're getting all the early Super Marios, you're getting a good portion of NES games. Not the best library. Same thing with they have Genesis on there too. They got a whole bunch of stuff. So at,
20
at that
bucks a
point, it's not even
year.
worth pirating. Yeah,
20
totally worth
bucks a
it.
year. That to me is the cheapest of the online payments because obviously with Sony I pay
It's like 120, I think, 130
yeah.
for the year.
It's if you get the second tier package. I usually go for the $79 one, which is like the plus, the regular plus, because
Yeah, I
there's
have the top
plus.
tier one. It's like
Yeah,
more, I guess like 150 almost.
yeah. I've had that one, and I buy that one from time to time if the games that are in the extra library are worth it.
Yeah.
So if they're not, then I just bypass them. But a lot of them, like right now, like okay, I'll ask this since I know that you're a gamer. What is your fall release game that you are looking forward to? If there's like more than one, pick like 2 or 3. But is there like one game you're waiting for this fall to drop?
So I'm behind on a lot of stuff because I don't have a PS5 yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're familiar with release dates, I got one coming in on the 1st. So that's my big fall pick right now.
You got Spidey.
Yeah, I got the Spider-Man PlayStation 5 coming in. I might do an unboxing. I've never done an unboxing before. And if anybody here or anybody who checks out their affiliate, you want to see us do an unboxing of the PS5, the Spider-Man edition, I'll do it.
I do because
Yeah? Cool.
I want to. I didn't pre-order it because I already have a digital PS5, but I have thought about now that I'm working. I was like, I did tell the wife, I was like, look, there might be something for Christmas I may want. I don't know. I said, let me see how things pan out. But I said, if I can, I'm going to try to swing a Spider-Man PS5 because I've never owned one.
If you're looking to do it on the cheap, they sell the panels separately, and you could just buy. I think it's like $60 or $70 for the panels, and you pop them off and pop them back on.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was tempted to just because it comes with the game, and I was like, I already got the game pre-ordered digitally on the console already. the only thing I was gonna really spend $80 on was the controller because
Don't get me started on that controller, man. Because talk about collecting. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm
no,
just like,
go ahead, go ahead,
I'm amped up right now.
go ahead.
So there was a God of War. What made me buy that PS5 is that there was a God of War controller,
Mhm.
which is the Wolf and Cub controller. Have you seen it?
Yep.
It's gray and blue. I don't know if you could put it up. I don't know how to do that, but I'll.
I can pull it up. Give me a second.
So it's gray and blue. It was limited edition, and I should have bought that thing when it came out, even though I didn't have a PS5. So now I'm in the market for. It was like early last month. I was in the market for a PS5, and I'm like,
All right, let me
man,
put
this
up
God of
here.
War controller it's unavailable everywhere. It's like, screw it. You know what? I'm gonna hop on the Spider-Man one because the controller looks dope, and I don't want to wait until I get a PS5 and then lose out on it because it's limited edition.
All right, so this is it. I found it on. Here you go.
Yeah, dude, it's gorgeous. And everywhere I've seen it on eBay, they're not selling it for cost. It's at least double.
This is 100 right now. This is 105.
That's
Buy
not
it
so
now.
bad, but I don't feel like paying $40 extra for it.
No, I
You know,
I wouldn't personally.
it's dope. It's dope as hell.
Yeah, it looks great. Like honestly, I mean, it's a bless you, mama. I honestly, I mean, 109, 113. Then there's skins. There's a
Yeah.
Spider-Man one, which I cannot wait.
That control looks so good. That
Yeah,
Spider-Man control, the one that's coming out.
I'm like, I saw it on Target and I was like, okay, I'll grab it when I see it at the store. But yeah, I I can't with it because it was funny.
Eh,
I didn't want to spend the money, and then I was like, originally I knee jerked and I was like, I'm gonna pre-order it, and I was gonna jump on the PS5, and I was like, I already got one, and then the wife's like, we don't need to, you could sell yours. I'm like, not yet. I was like, I gotta transfer all
Yeah.
the data. I was like, but then I was like, we got a PS4 that's dying. So I was like, we could give my PS5, the white one, to the living room, and then I could put that one on my. And of course, that was not an easy sell. And then $600 was definitely
Yeah.
not an easy sell.
No.
So,
But I mean, it works out for me. I don't have one, so it was an
for-
easy to hop on it.
yeah, when you don't have it, it's like I think I think that the limited edition consoles have always been a draw, and the good thing is, like, I haven't seen that controller, but I've seen the God of War PS5 bundle that supposedly
That's cool.
that you can get. I've seen that like several times at Target. I've seen the Horizon Forbidden West one. So like more and more, I've seen that more than I've seen Xbox Series X's.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
Which I'm surprised because, especially with a lot of the conspiracy theories now with the Xbox Series S being the Series S being so underpowered that all the games that are coming out are like getting features pulled, and they're like games are not going to be released at the same time for it. So
I got a Series S in the living room. My brother gave it to me. He won it in a raffle, and he already had like a Series X. So he's like, "Here, take it." And it's look, it's not as powerful. Like, you can tell it's not as powerful, but it's definitely better than the Xbox One. It's definitely stronger. To say it can't run certain things is kind of ridiculous. I think that's all hype to get people to buy them because Microsoft is hurting so bad.
Well, I was reading about Baldur's Gate, which for D&D
Which
fans,
I own, which I have on PC, Carpe Noctem 727 at Steam.
I'm going to be getting it on PlayStation 5. I will be getting it on
But
PlayStation 5 so I can play it. So we will play together.
As a lifetime console player, I haven't played a PC game since like Diablo 2, right? And I was never big into PC gaming. I felt like it was too hard to keep up, but Baldur's Gate made me get into it. I can see that not being as fun without a mouse and keyboard. I could see it being harder on a controller.
My friend has played. He has it on PC, and he's played it he's used his PS5 controller on his PC, and he says that it's mapped fine. He said he says that he doesn't see a difference, and he likes to use the mouse and keyboard. But I played Diablo 4 on PlayStation 5, and it can be depending in the situation. Like if you're kiting enemies,
Mhm.
it can be annoying for the hotkeys,
Yeah.
but you get used to it after a while. Like I've gotten used to it. Like, with all the stuff I play, like Fortnite and Destiny and other games. You just learn the system, and once you're good, you're good. At least that's
So
my
I
opinion of it.
I got 2 points to make. So Diablo 3 kind of ruined me, because I've played the original Diablos on PC. So now Diablo 3 comes out. I've been playing Diablo 3 on my PS3 and PS4. I bought that game like 3 times. I won't get into it.
I bought it
but
3 times too. Switch,
so I have
Switch, PS3, and PS4.
Yeah, I got it on. I got the PS3, the PS4, and then I gave my copy on the PS4 to my nephew, and I bought the what was it? The Inferno edition, the one that came out with Diablo D2R and Diablo 3 together.
Yep.
So then I ended up buying that one. So I played those games as a kid, and it would point and click made sense. Diablo 3 comes out. I've been playing Diablo 3 for the better part of the last 12 or 13 years, and I've been playing it on the PS4 to try to play, like, at least Diablo Immortal, which it functions the same way. To try to play that with a mouse and keyboard, I thought was like, oh, I just like this is way too complicated and not optimized. I'd rather play this on a controller. So Diablo 3 kind of ruined me for that. But I feel like Baldur's Gate, a game like Baldur's Gate and a game like Celesta, which is also based on the 5e system,
Mhm.
I feel like those kind of tactical things where you need to roll around the battlefield, you need to kind of like look from different angles, and like, mouse is optimal. I don't know. I don't like it Celeste with the keyboard on the Xbox.
I think with just from what I've seen with Baldur's Gate 3, I'm excited. I'm tempted to try a keyboard and mouse on the PS5 because there are ways to do it.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
there
I would have
was
never tried.
there's like people have done Bluetooth, like they've tried to Bluetooth connect the keyboard and then they've tried to do the mouse. I've seen people do it. It's not ideal. I wouldn't I've seen a lot of YouTubers hack it and I don't want to. I think at this point for me with games like that, like I have Tactics Ogre on the Switch. I played Kingmaker, the
Okay.
the Pathfinder 2e one
Yeah.
that's on PlayStation 5. And it's similar to Baldur's Gate. I mean, Baldur's Gate's by far a superior game, just visually and the mechanics wise. I'm going to say it's far more superior because I played Baldur's Gate 1, Baldur's Gate 2, Tales of the Sword Coast, Icewind Dale on PC back in the day. So I'm old school like that. So I'd love to see those games.
I played the first Neverwinter Nights on PC also.
Yeah, the one where you can make your own servers and had your own DMs. That was fun. That was a fun game.
The remaster, they remastered it this year, and it looks awful. Like I wouldn't waste my money on it. But for back then, that looked great.
Did you play Dark Alliance?
No, I haven't.
It's not good. It's like
No?
I think a lot of YouTubers have said it's probably the worst D&D game recently made, and I agree.
With Drizzt that came out last year, right?
Yeah.
No,
I bought the first
reviews
one.
made me stay away from it.
Yeah, I bought the first one because it was like I got it on a Black Friday sale for PlayStation, and then I played the second one. I pre-ordered the second one, and I was like, "Oh, this is not terrible." And then the second one was just like far worse. I was like, "Man, I could have played like, oh god, what was that game?"
Yeah, but the first Dark Alliance has got to be like 20 years old now.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's remastered, and it's still like it's clunky.
It really is. Like just the way it played didn't feel good. But if you're looking at games like that are in that vein that are good, I would have rather replayed the Lord of the Rings games that were very Assassin's Creed D&D style. You know, like where you played like I forgot the name of the character. There's like Shadows of Mordor.
Oh yeah, Italian.
Yeah, that game was fucking awesome.
Shadow of Mordor is one of the best games. One of my favorite games. One of the best games I ever played.
I'll die on that
hill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would gladly down that hill next year, brother, because that game is. I think for a modern RPG, action RPG,
Mm.
that was trying to combine different elements of RPG, tactical RPG, stealth RPG, and then like Zelda, Assassin's Creed action, all into a fully immersed world that evolved and changed as you played. I mean, you can't mess with a game like
It,
that.
Warner Brothers said, "Hey, we did it with Batman. Let's do Lord of the Rings," and I would have never thought that worked. And then you get in there, it's just like the Arkham series, except with swords, and it's fantastic.
I'm sad they never gave us a third one.
Yeah, I don't like the second one, to be honest with you.
It wasn't no, the second one's graphically it looks nice. It's just not as good. I think the first one and all the expanded content was great. Um, the second one felt like you needed to have the other content to really progress any
Yeah.
further, and I didn't like the armor system because it
I
felt
like
like
the armor system. I felt like the armor system was what was missing from the first game, and that's about it. That's where I would have cut it off.
I could agree with that. I could agree and disagree because I think that the armor system was good and it was needed very much in the first one, but I felt like trying to level up the armor, trying to get the right pieces together because then you'd get the sync bonuses,
Yeah, the
and
sets.
because you needed to get the full set. And it's like, of course, when I pre-ordered the game, it's like, oh well, you get these pieces, but you can't unlock them yet. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, oh, you guys gave us this, but then you don't. It's like, thanks.
One
So
of my favorite things about the first game was that you feel unbelievably powerful by the end of the game, right? You can wipe out like 200-300 orcs, and you still, as powerful as you feel, you're still very beatable.
oh
Like
yeah,
they could still gank you and overwhelm you, and you could still lose. But you still feel that sense of like you still feel unbelievably powerful, and then you could still be beat. I feel like the Dark Souls games are like that too. It doesn't matter. Like you could be ridiculously strong and you're taking these guys out in one hit, but if you let a bunch of dregs surround you and you don't keep it to a one-on-one fight, you can still get ganked. Doesn't matter if it's like new game +3 and you're running through it again. It's like you get overwhelmed by 3 dregs, you're dead.
see, I felt that way in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Like Black Flag is one of the first Assassin's Creed games in a long time that I played from beginning to end, did everything in that game. Meaning, I went and got all the bells. I went and got all the sunken things. I got every
All the
piece.
shanties.
Oh yeah, bro! I did everything, and when I got to the end game to get that armor, where like basically you had the bullets deflect off of you because they wouldn't hit you,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I'm good. But then guys would run up on me, and it's like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, from a distance, y'all can't hit me. But when you get up on me, it's if I don't parry, it's my ass. And
Yeah.
and that's literally how I felt like the balance existed. Like, give me the ultimate armor, but make it where, yeah, I'm not beatable at a distance. At close range, it's still 50-50.
Yeah.
If I miss a parry, it's my ass because they're gonna chop me up. But I think that's still that game's still out of all the Assassin's Creed games, I think Black Flag would probably rank in my top 5 games of all time.
See, I never played Black Flag, but I played Rogue. I fell off after Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and I didn't go back for a long time. And then I picked up Rogue on sale, and Rogue is like Black Flag Light. So I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so Black Flag had 2 things that went for that game. Edward Kenway, who was the best assassin pirate ever, and then they had Adewale. Adewale, who's the story that I absolutely love, was a slave that becomes an assassin, and then they gave him his own game. Like when he had
Freedom Cry was a Freedom Cry? That was good.
That was fucking awesome.
But again, that was like Black Flag Light, the same way that Rogue was.
Yeah,
it's the same, all the same mechanics. It's just different setting, different character.
They were like, "Oh yeah, we're in the Caribbean." So you're like, "Oh, you're going to be in San Juan, Puerto Rico." Oh, you're going to be
Yeah.
in like Haiti. Oh, you're going to go to Jamaica. That's how they were smart to do that.
That's kind of what I liked about with Rogue too, because you're up and down the Hudson River.
Yeah,
You
because
know,
Rogue,
so
you were
it's
all
like,
up in Canada, up in
yeah,
and they had to, and see, they took all they did was remodel parts of Assassin's Creed 3
yeah,
because that's where he was in
it.
Boston.
Yeah.
That was a terrible game too. Sadly, such a cool character, the assassin in that one, but like George Washington fighting the president, I was like, nah, you guys lost me on this one. You know, Syndicate was another one
Yeah.
that lost me. Like I didn't play it, but my sister, I was living with my sister, and she played it. I bought it for her to play, and I was like, this game's cool. I like that you could play from either perspective of the brother or the sister. Yeah, Aaron, I fell off at 3. I
Yeah, me
felt
too.
I did not fall off at 3. I was very stupid, and I went on to Egypt, and that was
I never played any of those games, those new ones.
Assassin's Creed. So there's a funny story. So I was living with my sister here in Charlotte, and I had pre-ordered Assassin's Creed. I forgot what that wasn't 4, but I guess it would have been 4. Was Egypt, and it was the ultimate edition with the statue of Bayek, the assassin, and it came in like this Egyptian puzzle box.
Cool.
Right. So I was waiting for it. Amazon canceled the pre-order. I was like, what? So this is back in the day. So Amazon went through the order and they were like, oh, we have one in the thing. We saw that you paid for it and we refunded you. We're sending it out to you free of charge. You're getting this. And I'm like, awesome. Thank you. I was like, great.
Amazon still kind of does things like that every once in a while. Not maybe with not as big of a purchase.
Yeah, because it was what? That was a buck.
You get lucked out some. Yeah,
yes,
you still luck out sometimes at Amazon.
So I get the statue, which I was all happy about. I got because at the time I had all the statues of the characters. I had Ezio, I had Altair, I had Kenway, Bayek, Connor, who is the third one, and then I had the French one. I did not have the
Unity.
twins. Yeah, from Unity. I did not have the twins because they never made a statue for the twins. So I was like, all right, I get the game. I install it, and the game was shit. Complete shit. I was like, this is horrible. I hate this game. I deleted it. Was like, great. I'm glad I got this for free.
They're all free on PS Plus right now, by the way.
Exactly. Then what was it? A few years later, they were like, oh, Final Fantasy Chocobos have made it into this game. I was like, okay, I get to get a Chocobo. I'm a lifelong Final Fantasy fan. I do this.
Favorite Final Fantasy?
Oh,
what's your favorite Final Fantasy?
3 and 7. 3, 7, and 10.
10's got a special place in my heart.
3, 7, and 10.
10's actually the first Final Fantasy game I ever beat, and it just kind of, I love it. And then everything else after that kind of trickles down.
So here's how you got
to. Then I like 7. I like 7 and 8. You could switch 7 and 8 back and forth.
See, okay, let me explain. 3, which for those of you that are not in the know, 3 is 6.
Oh, 6, sorry.
Which is Final Fantasy 6, because that's the one where you get to play all the characters and you have a choice of losing Shadow or not. And I played that on Super Nintendo, and there's a story behind that, why that was my favorite. My mom was working for a hospital in New York, and she lost her job right at Christmas. And she had enough money to buy me one thing. And Super Nintendo games were not cheap. That game was $110, and she bought that for me for Christmas. That was the only gift I got that Christmas. And I will tell you, it still to this day holds a special place in my heart, because that was the one game I played through and maxed out the time both times I played it. Final Fantasy 7 has another. These all have a story tied to it, except for 10. 7, I got my first PlayStation from my first girlfriend. We had 1 year together. She's like, "What do you want?" I was like, "PlayStation had just come out." So I was like, "Can I get a PlayStation?" She bought me a PlayStation.
Nice.
Then she's like, "You need a game," and I was like, "Can I get Final Fantasy 7?" Sure. I got that. Had no memory card for like the first month. Bought a memory card and then started playing it. My mom lost her job again. I sell my PlayStation and sell everything. then my mom gets working, re-buys it for me with my girlfriend that Christmas, re-buys it for me again.
That's awesome. That's
And
great, man. That's
Final Fantasy VII will always hold a place in my heart. Plus, getting to literally run Knights of the Round 45 times and just put your controller down and walk away and literally just watch Sephiroth get his ass handed to him. That was worth it. And then 10, obviously, I mean, it's Final Fantasy 10. I mean, Auron and Lulu were the two main reasons I love that game.
Auron's my favorite character in that game.
Oh yeah, Bruce Willis. Come on, man. If Bruce Willis could have played a Final Fantasy character, he was Auron. And every nerd's love was Lulu, because who would not love a busty goth chick that casts spells?
That game was so cool. And like, it's the first time that everything was like fully voice acted. It was the first Final Fantasy I played because I never had a PlayStation. I was a Sega guy, so I had a Saturn and a Dreamcast.
Oh, so you still knew good games, because if you had a Sega CD, you knew. I'm gonna hit you. Okay, let's see if I hit you in the nostalgia. Did you have a Sega CD?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
Well, I probably played it. What game are you talking about?
All right. Did you ever play any of the classic RPGs from Working Designs, like Lunar, Silver Star Story, Popful Mail, Magic Knight Rayearth?
I played the original Shadowrun on the Genesis,
which I did too, and that was great. That's a great, solid RPG.
They actually just re-released Shadowrun. Oh, what they released? They released Shadowrun Run, Chinatown, and I forgot the other one.
On what was it, Switch?
No, I think it's on Steam.
Oh, cool. I don't have a Steam account. Ironically enough, I don't have, because I have a Mac, but I don't have a laptop. If I did have a laptop, probably I would play more Steam. But I've been watching a lot of YouTubers stream about the Steam Deck, and I've been tempted to want to get a Steam Deck just to, I don't know, screw around with it. But yeah, I figured if you are into classic games, or if you ever get the opportunity to get your hands on a Sega CD, I know these games are ridiculously expensive, but play Lunar 2, Silver Star Story, Popful Mail, and Magic Knight Rayearth was on the Saturn.
Yeah, I'll take a note of that.
Those are by far some of the best RPGs I've ever played on the Genesis. And on the
I don't mean to cut you off, but they have the Shadowrun trilogy, which is Shadowrun Returns, Hong Kong, and Dragonfall, right?
On Steam.
And no, dude, they're on like everything. They're on Linksys, they're on Mac, they're on Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S and X. It's literally on everything.
Good, I can play it on my Switch.
Yeah.
I need more stuff to play on my Switch anyway. I have an excuse to play with that thing, because I keep it because I know until they make the Switch Pro or the next Nintendo, I'm not getting rid of my Switch.
I'm totally wrapped up in Metroid Dread right now.
That's the next game I got to get my hands on. I keep hearing nothing but good things about it.
Maybe it's because my age, but I love platformers and I love that Metroidvania stuff. So anything that's Metroidvania like esque, like I'm totally
Dead Cells.
Dead Cells is great. Shadow Complex is one of my favorite Metroidvanias. That's a great. If you got a chance, it's more like a modern shooter with the Metroid formula. Really great. If you
that was
done by cheap somewhere.
I played Shadow Complex on Xbox when it was because Epic had released it on Xbox first.
Yeah.
And that was one of those games I remember having when I wanted to have downtime between Gears of War. I'd play that. And that game was a great game.
Excellent Metroidvania.
Did you have you seen Blasphemous, that new one that they're releasing in a couple weeks?
Blasphemous is, oh my God. It's okay. If you can get past some of the religious motifs, like they don't necessarily say it's not mocking, but like an algorithm, not an algorithm. What's the word I'm looking for? Like an analog to Christianity. If you can kind of like get past that, it's the game's wild. Great game.
I can
totally great game.
I can. It was the box art was like just seeing the Christ face with the crown of thorns. I was like, huh? And then I saw the
game.
And
that's his helmet.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. It's definitely I mean, the price point on it wasn't bad. It was like $35. I was like, that's
Play
not
the
a bad.
if you can get the first one on sale, go for it. It's a great game,
Yeah,
especially if you liked all the other ones, like Dead Cells and all that.
oh
That's
yeah,
and Metroid. That's awesome.
yeah. Because I love Metroidvania games too. Like I think that they're good. I think they're good because of the fact that there's no 3D element to it.
Yeah.
It's you're playing the game, you're focusing on the puzzle, you're focusing on the combat. You're not focusing on the background and everything else. It brings back Symphony
And the
of the
map
Night,
is just a grid. Yeah, the map is just a grid. Well,
Mhm.
Symphony Night is that's where all that comes from.
which I
You know,
loved.
it's that whole that's the Super Metroid and Symphony of the Night, and then that's where you get all that Metroidvania. That's the
Oh,
the
God,
birth of it.
Super Metroid. I hated that game and loved that game in high school so
Game is
much.
so damn good.
It is. That's why Dread I have to get. Like it's funny. I had Dread, and then a friend of mine locally was like, I can't find it anywhere because it was sold out. And I was like,
Mhm.
all right, I'll sell it to you. I'll sell you my copy. And I sold him my copy for cheap. And then I never. And then he was like, oh, like do you want it back? I'm like, nah. I was like, eventually, if I want it, I'll get it.
Dude,
And
you got to pick that up. It's great.
yeah, it's on my list. Trust me. There is a being that when you don't work and there's so many other things I wanted. I was like,
Yeah.
there's a, and I think I don't know if I think I told you this the other day, and people are going to be surprised to hear this. I actually thought about stopping collecting. Like I had the moment, folks. I had my coming to Jesus moment where I was like, I'm going to stop buying toys. And I was very, very conflicted because there's things that bring me joy. Like I have a lot of action figures, a lot, but there's very few pockets of those figures that bring me joy.
Okay.
So I'm getting rid of the ones that don't. And the only ones that are coming in are ones that are to the lines like Spider-Man, Batman, Kamen Rider. And when I can decide to string some expensive money together, some Mythic Legion, Cosmic Legions. But beyond that, I think I've pretty much reached that point where I know what I want to collect and I know what I want to invest into. Like there's a lot of video games I'd rather play because I know people have been talking about me doing streams and it's just there's a replayability. There's also a nostalgia to that too. Like I played Metroid when Team Ninja made Metroid, and that was freaking amazing, and then I played Metroid Fusion. And yeah, now the Switch is starting to get a lot of
Metroid
those.
Fusion is really great.
By far, one of the best Game Boy Advance games ever made.
That might be the best Metroid game, and I'll die on that hill. It might be better than Super Metroid. I like Metroid Fusion a lot. That game was so damn hard. Like fighting the security droids. That thing was so.
And you know what
awful.
though? You could say that, and I'm not going to disagree with you because I think that it was the one game that if you actually had the suit, the Fusion suit, and it was on GameCube. If you put the game into the GameCube and you had the Fusion suit, it was allowed to transfer to your GameCube game, and you'd have the suit in your game. That was one of the only times I remember that ever being a thing, and that's why I would say I can agree that was probably one of the best games of all time.
To use it, what Metroid Prime?
Yeah, it was
because I didn't know that.
Because
I didn't have a GameCube, so I didn't know.
Yeah, because I had I had two GameCubes. I was fancy because I got one. I bought one, and then my mom got me a modded one when I graduated college. Nice. So I had a little switch in the back so I could play all my Japanese games. So I played all my Naruto, Gekito Ninja Taisen. I played all my Smash.
All your Ring of Fire games.
Oh, dude! Hell yeah, dude!
Yeah,
all those games were freaking fire.
I fuck with Ring of Fire a little bit. I have in the past.
Dude, I mean, like right now, like I have a friend of mine my friend Tommy, and I know he doesn't watch my show, but he's a New Yorker, and he just got back into wrestling, and he's like he loves WWE. He's like he loves, I'm like, dude, you need to get Fire Pro Wrestling.
Fire Pro, that's what I meant. Not Ring of Fire. I'm sorry.
I was like, when you said that to me, it brought me back. I was like, Fire Pro Wrestling was by far the best wrestling game ever made, and I know it's what inspired Fight Forever because I have Fight Forever. And he's like, nah, dude. He's like, you gotta. I said no. I said WWE has had so many hit or misses. Like I said,
Mm.
come on, man. When Randy Orton, they put him on the cover, they had the Predator system. That game sucked. You know, now you've had 2 years of bad runs because 2K21 and 2K22 were terrible. They had bugs in them and everything where you could crash the game and lose your saves. And now I know they got this year, and I was like, oh, okay, Cody's in the game, and I'm like, but I got Cody in Fight Forever, so I don't need your game. I got all the guys I want to wrestle with in there, and I get all the crazy stuff without having to make it again in 2K. So,
They've gotten away. The wrestling games are worse than the sports games. They're worse than the football and the basketball games because they've gotten away with literally giving you the same roster. At least
Mhm.
with like the baseball and the football games, players get traded and stuff like that. So you gotta change the stats on each team. But those wrestling games, they got away with giving you the same roster and giving you DLC stuff like DLC characters and DLC. They were doing DLC intros at one point, right? When
Yeah.
they're trying to sell you intro music and intro like
Yep.
walk downs and stuff. And I'm happy that it finally caught up to them in the last 2 years because it was so lazy, such a
Well,
cash grab, and so lazy.
Well, AEW fixed that because in Fight Forever, they literally said this is the one-stop buy. So for any wrestling
Good.
fan that like buys their game, it's now you can buy the DLC content, and
Mhm.
then they have add-ons that they're putting into the game because it's like basically the game is still in development from what I can gather. Like,
Mhm.
so they just put in Stadium Stampede. They've
That's
added
cool.
they've added like the blood and guts matches. So like you
Nice.
can get all the stuff that they're doing in the show, and then they update the stats, they update the rosters. They've added characters. If you want to buy certain characters, they don't put them behind a paywall. Some of them are. I think like FTR is behind a paywall. But like
Okay.
CM Punk is playable, which that's the main reason I bought it because I wanted to play CM Punk. And I was like, but make sure you guys give me Samoa Joe. Make sure you guys update when these idiots leave. Like add Christian Cage, add this one. Make sure, and they're starting to do that. And I feel like that's why this game might overtake WWE because, like, I just saw Madden. Like, so I went to Target the other day, and this is gonna come full circle. So I go to Matt, I see all the kids run to the PS5 section, and they're grabbing Madden, and I'm like, man, I remember back in the day when I would wait for August to get Madden, and then I bought Madden and I played it for like 2 weeks, and then I stopped playing it because
It's been the same game since 2000.
exactly, and you ain't gonna change that. I
Let
love
me tell
it.
you something. I was a 2K fan. All right. I was a huge 2K football fan. I thought that was a better game than Madden. And
It
guess what?
was.
They took that thing down. They ended up buying the license for the NFL and they got sloppy and they got lazy. It's not good.
It's
It's been the
true.
same game for the last 23 years. It's not good.
I mean, right now the best you're gonna get in any of the sports games, sadly, is gonna be UFC because UFC actually does their statistics and keeps everything up to date, which I think is awesome. You're gonna look at 2K NBA.
Mhm.
I don't play NBA, but from what I hear, NBA 2K, and then I would probably say NHL.
The baseball games always look great, though.
Oh,
That's
MLB.
like that's the only positive I can say about those games. They always look great. They're the same
Yeah.
thing. That's the same nonsense every year. But at least in terms of graphic fidelity, they always look better.
They should bring a Japanese version over. Like, I'd love to see like the Hashin Tigers, like versus the Yankees, or like give me like give me like the actual game of like international baseball teams. Like, give me the
Yeah.
teams from Mexico, from
That's
Canada.
cool.
That would be a cool ass game to play. Like, see, I don't need
Yeah, like a baseball classic, the
yeah,
baseball classic game.
like Tecmo, like when Tecmo used to have like
Yeah.
you can play like these games were modeled after. Well, fuck modeling. Make me a game that looks like this, that plays like this. I will play it, watch it, and it would get me to buy more sports games. I don't really
Uh,
buy them much now.
yeah. On the Genesis, I used to play a game called Super Baseball 2020, and everybody was like modded, and then like they were robots, and like everybody's kind of like cyborgs. Like I can go for another one like that, like another like Mutant League type thing. Like
Oh
that's dope.
God, did you ever play
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. We're
Warhammer
gonna
one?
start. We're gonna start talking about Warhammer. That's where this is going right now.
See, I knew it. I was like, did you see the Warhammer one they made, the football game?
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
the
what's it called?
greatest game. Oh god, it was
Blood Bowl.
Blood Bowl. I
Yeah.
played that on PS4. Oh my god, that game was hilarious. My
I played
roommate
a little
had it.
I played a little Vermintide. I'm not super into Warhammer. Like I feel like it's very overwhelming.
It is. It is. But I knew. I see the minute you go down that route, and I was like, oh yeah, you everybody's played Blood Bowl. Like I watched my roommate. I remember my roommate had it here. We were living in this big 3-floor townhome, and one day I came home and he was we say drinking herbal tea, which is a euphemism for you know what that would be. So he was drinking herbal tea. I was drinking herbal tea with him, and we're watching. He started to play Blood Bowl, so we started playing together. Then, of course, that same day, Dragon Ball Fighter Z dropped. Man, did I
can't
ever...
believe you said that wrong.
Oh, Dragon Ball.
It's just fighters. It's just fighters. Dragon Ball Fighters.
Oh, is it? I'm stupid.
Yeah, it's just fighters. Fighters.
I liked it. It was good.
Talk about DLC I collected and never played.
Are you serious? You bought all the characters?
No. I bought all the characters. I think I've played with half of them.
I don't think I have all the characters, but I've unlocked most of them. And I love my team was Vegeta, Majin was Majin Vegeta, Trunks, Kid Trunks, and oh god, who was my third? Was it Piccolo? No.
I used to run Vegeta, Trunks, and Black. And I
thank you.
I used to run with Trunks. Hey, Dave.
It's Dave. There's my brother who's been having a very bad week, but hopefully we will cheer you up talking about some nerdness. But yeah, like that game, I had that game and I loved it. And then
I played the hell out of it. Yeah.
And then it's like I dropped off. So am I. Are you getting Mortal Kombat?
Yeah. But you want to talk about like a debilitating addiction? It's the NetherRealm games. Awful. I've played every Mortal Kombat. They come out. I buy the game, the DLC blind. Like whatever. Combat Pack 1, Combat Pack 9. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll take the season pass blind. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like, give me all these characters. I'm gonna take them all.
They can mail me. They can mail me Capri Suns and ham sandwiches every like 4 months and tell me that's a DLC pack, and I'll take it.
Dude,
it's so bad.
Dude, I bought all those. Like I didn't buy when I got 9 and I got 10. I didn't buy the season passes, and I then of course 10 did all that. Like 2 years of like, hey, we're just gonna spam you with content.
Yeah, and that was fantastic because they actually kept up with it.
Yeah, it was good. Like the characters were good. I loved all the DLC characters. I didn't like the extra costumes, but I did like getting like Rambo, Terminator, Predator.
Oh, you're talking about 11 head Rambo.
Yeah, 11 head Rambo. I have 9, 10, and 11, and then now I'm like when I saw 1, I didn't get in for the beta, but
I missed it.
Yeah, my boy got into it and I just watched him stream it. And I was like, all right, I think I need to get this game now. I was like, it's Mortal Kombat. It's the one I won't buy Street Fighter. I love Street Fighter, but I will not buy Street Fighter. Yeah, and I just saw Tekken.
The Street Fighter boat has left for me a long time ago.
Yeah, after
somewhere around like, yeah, dude. After Marvel's Capcom Infinite, I was like, nah, Capcom, I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'll fuck with your other shit, but I'm not fucking with your fighting games anymore.
Yeah, your other games are good, but when it comes to your fighting games, like you guys dropped the ball. Mortal Kombat has picked it up and run with it fine. Tekken, the new Tekken. What do you think about the new Tekken?
I got in on the Tekken beta, and I was a big fan of Tekken Tag, like around that era of Tekken. But I'll take it or leave it. I mean, for nostalgia's sake, I like playing with the characters. I like Jin Kazama and
who doesn't love Jin?
Playing those old school characters, June and King and all that stuff. But
Paul,
yeah, Paul, Jack. It's Law. The old school characters I like, but that ship has passed too. in my humble opinion, I believe that I was like competitive level good at Injustice, which is all the same system as Mortal Kombat. Like I put a ton of time into that game. Like
Oh,
that's
Injustice and Injustice 2.
yeah.
I
Injustice
shit.
2 is
Yeah.
man, I would hate to actually look and see how many hours I have in Injustice 2 because it's probably more time than I put into Skyrim. You know.
Oh, Dave said, give us a DLC. Namco did at one point. With that was in the Soul Calibur franchise. They did that. They didn't do
Oh
it.
yeah,
In
they
the
did in Virtua Fighter, I think also.
yeah, Virtual Fighter. They did it in the more recent Soul Calibur from I think 4 up. They added a build your own fighter, but that never translated into Tekken, and it never translated into Mortal Kombat because Mortal Kombat's got just such an elaborate story. A create a fighter for me, I wouldn't need it. I'll play everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Hope that wasn't too obvious.
oh no, it wasn't obvious. It's funny because I
No,
have my
I was gonna ask you to rap. I don't know if I wanted to do it on air or not because I got to go pick up my daughter from school.
no, that's all right. So we're gonna end up going here, folks. I know that Sal is gonna be coming back on this show. I'm gonna talk to him about another project I want to work on with him. But he does, Dave. We're gonna invite Sal onto our show because he wants to talk movies with us, and maybe we'll do a Star Wars episode. We'll try to
big
figure out
action movie guy.
and it's he's big into action movies. We got a whole that's one of our big standard bearers. So this was a hell of a lot of fun. I enjoy these. These are my favorite impromptu. And who better than to hang out with somebody that gets you than a fellow dad and a brother. Sal, you are fucking amazing.
Something about bald guys.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. With us bald motherfuckers, we stick together.
That's what I tell Steve. It's like, we're doing the bald guy variety hour.
I know you know what? We're the United Colors of Benetton, the three of us.
But what's funny too? You got me, I'm bald. All right, Archer's bald, and then no one's ever seen Anthony's face because he doesn't like to show it. But Anthony has a luscious head of hair, and so does Aaron. So it's like you got both extremes.
And then look at this. Look at this. Yes, Dave. I know you have a full head of hair.
Dave has a full head of hair. There we go.
Do. But I love you. You can have a full head of hair. I choose to shave my head. I also have a little bit of a
I'm dead bald.
Oh no, I shave my head. No, mine grows, but like I have a little bit of a receding, so that's why I just go whoop. I just take it all off. But yeah, we're gonna end it here, and I'm gonna talk to him off while he's getting his kid. I'm gonna talk to him about that. But folks, thank you so much, brother. This was a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody that came through, and y'all. Thank you again, and this is not the first or the last time, so be expecting it. And as always, my friends, stay geeky, y'all. Peace out. Catch you on the flip side.
Carpe Noctem. See you around, everybody.